Hey everybody, I'm going to be talking about Loki. I just saw episode 2 last week. Um, but I also like to watch a lot of uh, the people out there that talk about Marvel Universe, Star Wars Universe, all those things. So, yeah, I will be talking about episode 2 of Loki. So if you haven't watched it, there could be spoilers. There may not be, but there could be spoilers. Because one of the things that I want to talk about that Loki brings up is choice and free will. Now, in Loki 1, episode 1, episode 2. Well, episode 1, they talk about the sacred timeline. And there can't be any variant, which the current Loki is a variant, to destroy the sacred timeline. So, things in the sacred timeline are predetermined. So that gets to something about free will. Is stuff predetermined, or what about choice and free will? Choice and free will. Having some outward upper authority that chooses for us, which kind of like that's kind of like what we're dealing with now, back in 2020 and currently, and even before 2020, because it's the government likes to choose for its people instead of us choosing for ourselves, because they know better. So you have like the TVA that knows better. So if you choose to be like late for work, you're a variant. They come and they make it so you're not late. So if you're late for work, in the Marvel Universe, you were supposed to be late. It's kind of silly, but that's one of the things I think they are going to talk about in the Loki series, predetermination and free will. Because in episode 2, again, spoilers, Lady Loki let go a lot of reset charges through, sent them to different parts of the timeline, sacred timeline, thus destroying the sacred timeline, having all these branches go off, kind of like a tree, kind of like a multiverse of madness, and we know that is coming up. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Man, which is coming out. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, which is coming out this December, will have Doctor Strange in that, and will be dealing with the multiverse. So, that's a thing too. Is there really a multiverse? Multiple universes? I mean, just think of the problems that a multiverse would happen. That means every single decision that you made, if there is true free will, and depending upon what religion you have, there is free will. God gave us free will. Then there's a separate universe for that. I mean, think of just the amount of energy that has to go into the multiverse. Maybe that's why they protect the sacred timeline. Because if they didn't, the universe would probably use up all its energy and maybe die. I wonder if this is where Loki is going to be going in the multiverse of madness. I wonder if it's going to be going down that direction. Now, if there is choice, well, first of all, the timekeepers on the TVA, which exist out of time, they, unless it's going to be like Doctor Who, where, there are certain fixed points of time that you can't touch. But, it'll be interesting, seeing this free will, choice, and predetermination, and I wonder if this is like, because Marvel likes to push it sometimes, and this could be like, the TVA could be representative of a government or a higher authority, because there are higher authorities than the government. But, I have a different view of the universe, that there is one universe. But that symbol, that pyramid symbol, the triangle symbol with the eye in the top? Well, I think that eye represents the first consciousness. And that first consciousness vibrated itself to create another one, and so on and so forth. Did that 7 times to our plane here, the 7th plane. The 6th plane being the astral plane, which is a mirror of this plane, and the 5th plane being the mental, which when the mental vibrated, it created the 7th. But in the creation of the 7th, the reflection of the 6th was also created. Anyways, the universe, the multiverse, it makes for good stories. And I think that we're getting into the multiverse because I've been binge watching The Magicians, and they've been getting into the multiverse there. Even though it's just about like one story, but I don't know if there's going to be a 6th season. I hope there is a 6th season, and they can explore the multiverse a little bit better. They definitely went into time big, time magics, just another idea of time. But, sci-fi, fantasy shows, it helps us to think about our reality. And just think of this too. The human mind has created the multiverse and many other belief systems that we know of here on this earth, this plane. So, is it true because we created it with our mind? Or is it true? Is it illusion or not? But sometimes illusion makes a good story. So anyways, I don't know. Yeah, just like, Loki is a magician. And also the female Loki, it seems like she can transfer her consciousness. So maybe, through a magic of transferring her consciousness into another body, and maybe that's how that variant survived being erased by the TVA, because it was a female that but I also have a theory too, that maybe she went to the TVA just like this Loki did, but well, it wasn't a she, it was a he, but transferred his consciousness to like one of the time cops, a female time cop. And that's also why that Loki has, because Loki is smart. He learns, and, maybe they were questioning free will, because this Loki was questioning, talking with Mobius about free will and choice. What about that? And Mobius didn't have a good choice. Didn't have good answers for that. So if you haven't watched Loki yet, I really think you should watch Loki, because I think it's going to get into some really interesting territory, metaphysically and maybe philosophy. So anyways, thank you for watching. And choice, do we have choice, or is everything predetermined? I lean with choice. So there's choice, but once we make a choice, that's it. That other possibility doesn't exist. We don't branch off into like another thing, because once we make the choice and start walking, that other is gone. It's just the one. So maybe we do have a sacred timeline, but it's controlled by us anyways. And choice, I don't know. It's going to be an awesome show. Second episode and there's already chaos. But, Loki. Loki thrives on chaos. So, I love story. Anyways. Maybe talking about the magicians. Because that was... Anyways. Talk to you later. Stay creative in the magic of life and choice, predetermination.